I'm Councillor Mike Owen. I'm a councillor with Shropshire Council. I have portfolio responsibility for tourism. When you come to Shropshire, you're going to find inspirational landscapes, a rich culture and heritage. It's full of unique discoveries and surprises. I want as many people as possible to come and explore these magnificent aspects of our county. That's why we are creating a new museum and art gallery right here in the heart of Shrewsbury. It's here that you will be able to come and experience these amazing stories and then go out to the Shropshire landscape to see them for yourselves. For example, just down the road from here is Wroxeter Roman City. At its peak, the fourth largest in Britain. We will have on show one of the finest collections of Roman objects in Britain. And it's not just about what you will see inside the museum. The restoration work has uncovered and helped to restore some really wonderful old buildings. You might know of the Victorian Music Hall, but round the back of it is one of Shrewsbury's finest medieval buildings waiting to be rediscovered. So let's go and have a look, shall we?
Hi, my name's Phil Scoggins. I work for Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery. Welcome to our behind-the-scenes tour of this exciting new project in the heart of Shrewsbury. I'm standing in Far Office Passage. Some of you will remember this particular corridor as the way through to the box office of the old music hall. In the future, this passage will be reinstated as the shut that it originally was, leading to the cafe behind me and on to the galleries of the new museum. Back in the 13th century, this route was the route to the courtyard of William Vaughn's mansion. We're now moving into another room which has had a number of uses over the years, from being Sidoli's cafe in the 20th century and also the Visitor Information Centre, a role which it will be reprising again in the near future. We're now in the Clive Suite. Some of you will have queued for your drinks at intervals in the bar that used to be behind me here. Originally, this was built as public rooms back in the 1830s. In the future, it's going to be the new Special Exhibitions Gallery, with a series of exhibitions every year here in what, after all, is Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery. Generations of local people will have loved this space. Some may have met their future husbands or wives here. Maybe they went to a theatrical performance, perhaps lucky enough to see the Beatles here in the early 60s, or they attended the pantomime or a beer festival. It's the auditorium of the music hall, a space that now floods with light thanks to the beautiful conservation of the 19th century windows by our building contractor ISG. This space will shortly house the main museum collection. I'm standing next to a roof truss in the west wing of Vaughn's mansion. This truss has just been tree ring dated to 1623. This is part of a big remodelling of Vaughn's mansion at that time. And the amazing thing is that this roof had been thought to have been completely destroyed by a fire in 1917. Not so. However, it's a roof that's been in trouble. Later repairs and alterations seriously undermine the stability of this roof, and much time and effort and steelwork has been spent holding it up for future generations. This is the Gable End of the 1623 extension to Vaughn's mansion. It's been much altered in the 20th century, but during the new works it will be restored to its Jacobean splendour. Behind this lath and plaster work here are examples of the Shrewsbury School of Carpentry that was around in the late 16th and early 17th century that will once again be on view from the courtyard beyond this wall.
My name's John McStay, Project Manager for ISG Construction, and we're standing in Vaughn's 17th century building at the moment. As you can see, there are an extensive amount of restoration being carried out behind me, and this building has uncovered many layers of problems, but we are sympathetically working towards restoring it back to its former glory. As you can see, there is stirrups and structural intervention that's been carried out to stabilise this building completely. and it's taken a considerable amount of time and effort by all parties to achieve this.
One of the surprises of the restoration was here, a previously unknown 13th century segmental arch, which went over here. Now this arch is being restored as part of the new development. And in front of me here, you can see some of the new sandstone which has been cut for that arch. In order to restore the arch we've just seen, ISG have had to create a template former here against which to set the stones which were recovered from that space. The new arch will consist of original material and beautifully cut sandstone to create the entire arch as it would have been back in the 13th century. I'm now entering the hall of William Vaughn, wool merchant. The walls, the windows, the doors of this fabulous room were built round about the 1290s. But in the 1470s, this fantastic roof above me was constructed, and the screen behind me was installed. Now this room's gone through many changes. A disastrous fire in 1917 which burnt out most of the roof. A remarkable survival which ensures that this room is a most appropriate place to have the museum's medieval gallery in the new development. But its survival is even more remarkable when we look what's behind us on the other side of this arch. The wooden post behind here originally went down to the ground, but at some point in its history it was completely cut through, leaving the sill that runs underneath here to sag and almost to break. ISG have had to introduce this steel post and one on the other side just to keep the whole screen from dropping through to the ground floor. We're now under the hall of William Vaughn. This space in his day would have been an undercroft, a storage area. In more recent years, it's been a cinema. But when this development began, it became quickly apparent that the floor above me was about to fail, to collapse. So new beams, massive 2.5-ton beams, have had to be introduced to hold the whole superstructure up. This new gallery will be a prehistoric and Roman gallery in the new museum. It's full of scaffolding now, but this is a space that William Vaughn would have recognised. It's the courtyard to his mansion. And this is the first time in 150 years that it's been open as a space. Previously, it was full of ancillary buildings, of the music hall, and before that of a fire insurance office. Come back when Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery reopens, and over there will be a cafe extending in the summer months into this space. This courtyard will probably become one of the great public spaces in Shrewsbury.
When we think of the music hall, we often think of one building, but actually it's a series of structures spanning over 750 years of architectural heritage. The oldest site, Vaughn's Mansion, is medieval. We've got two Georgian buildings and a late Georgian assembly room across the frontage with a beautiful portico that we all know and love. And then right in the centre is the music hall itself, an early Victorian structure. So the site has gone through significant change over the course of its life, and a huge part of the process to turn the complex of buildings into Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery is to unpick all those different structural layers in order to make the building fit for purpose for hopefully another 750 years. The project is incredibly complex because of all these different layers of architectural history. We've uncovered quite significant structural problems throughout the entire complex of buildings. The main difficulty we've had has been with Vaughn's Mansion. Not only has the structure undergone significant change, which has compromised the actual ability of the structure to support its own weight, we've also suffered geologically because out on the square and into the centre of the music hall and Vaughn's Mansion, it's actually a geological kettle hole. Imagine the square and the old market hall, Stanley. There was significantly more structures on the square throughout the medieval, Tudor and Georgian and Victorian eras, all of which have sunk. The consequence of the geology has been a significant amount of underpinning, particularly on Vaughn's mansion, in order to support the actual structure. This has had to be completed in a sympathetic way so we don't actually damage the historical structure, but we also provide that structural integrity which is so important. That has resulted in quite significantly difficult solutions that have taken a long period of time, but we're pleased to say that we've managed to overcome all the difficulties and Vaughn's is now in a fit state. The new Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery will give us the opportunity to showcase the fabulous collections that we hold in Shrewsbury and wider Shropshire in outstanding facilities for the first time. With all the frustrating structural difficulties out of the way, we can now concentrate on turning the musical complex into the new Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery, redisplaying the fabulous collections that we have in Shrewsbury and Shropshire into the new galleries, and also creating a temporary exhibition space which will bring exhibitions of both national and international significance right into the heart of Shrewsbury to really increase the visitor offer. We will also have an education suite and lecture space up on the top floor to have the ability to host functions and to showcase Shropshire's rich and unique heritage. I'm Tim Jenkins, Shrewsbury Museum Manager within Shropshire Council and also Project Manager for the new development behind us. We look forward to welcoming you to Shrewsbury Museum and Art Gallery in 2013.